Oh shit. It's a good thing I actually saw this. It is a good thing I actually saw this. Oh my god. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Where are you? Current stream, current stream. I'm going to take note of this because oh my god, it's really picking up. I don't know what the heck else is happening when it comes to the Gen Z protesters thing. Okay, I'll just call this the Gen Z protests. Lima, Peru. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it right there, and I know which file to actually. I know actually which file to actually watch because holy shit, dude. Okay, I'm not sure how many videos I'm going to be watching, but I know that this is going to be related to the Gen Z protesters. Basically, they are absolutely sick and tired of corruption. Well, they have been sick and tired in Asia because all around Indonesia, the Philippines as well, and then Cambodia, if I'm right. No, Nepal. Yes. And then now Lima, Peru. Now, I'm seeing the thumbnail. Lima erupts again. Youth versus president. And the title of the video is, well, this is from CNN-News 18. The title of the video is Peru protest update. Gen Z takes streets in Lima. Youth versus president. Peru sees wave of protests. Wave or waves? Because I believe they're not gonna halt. They're not going to be shut up just like this. I don't think they're gonna be shutting up just like that. Okay. I mean, really. The protests are good. Seems peaceful enough, I guess. Well, if it's not peaceful, we'll see soon enough. Okay. The same flag with the same insignia from what's the thing? Fairy Tale? No, it's not Fairy Tale. I forgot the I keep forgetting the anime name. Am I right? Fairy Tale? No, it's not. I don't know. Keep forgetting. Jerry's yeah, they're going up against the president, the actual president of Peru. Oh my god. And there's a protester who, oh boy. It began weeks ago against former President Dina Boluarte. Okay. Boluarte was ousted by Congress amid outrage over escalating violence. Protests continued against Jerry over laws seen as weakening crime fighting. Yeah, this is definitely happening. On October 15th, singer Eduardo Mauricio Luis Sanz was killed during a march. Holy shit, it did not stop. It did not stop with one president. Protesters carried cardboard coffins representing those killed in recent years. Damn. This is not good. Rally march towards the legislative headquarters in central Lima. Jerry's government declared a 30-day state of emergency in Lima to curb crime. Peru has seen a dramatic rise in murders and extortion cases in recent years. Oh, dude. Youth groups staged new protests in Lima against interim president Jose Jerry. Oh my god, it did not stop with one president. The next president tried to actually calm things down. It got messier. That means they're not doing a good job. Demonstrators demand for Jerry's resignation and justice for killed protester. Yep, it's an absolute mess. This is an absolute mess. The Gen Z protest began weeks ago against former President Dina Boluarte, and now the interim president is also getting the heat too. This is wild. Boluarte was ousted by Congress amid outrage over escalating violence. Yeah. This obviously, basically the footer over here is just repeating over here. So I'm not going to I am not going to repeat this again. It's a good thing the footer is at least repeating.
El estado de emergencia es simple y llanamente para detener la protesta. Hace unas 2 semanas había un asesinato y por el miedo a la protesta, porque se cagan de miedo, porque ya se han dado cuenta que la protesta es lo que le da miedo al Congreso, al gobierno, quieren reprimirla.
They're really spreading the word. They're really absolutely just spreading the word out there, bro. A conch? Is that a conch horn? Jerry's government declared a 30-day state of emergency in Lima to curb crime. I think this is all the footage and all the... I think this is all of it. Yeah, I think this is all of it. This is all of the footage and the footer as well. So I think this is only coming as a loop. So yeah. Basically, let's just be real. I want to learn a bit more about this, so I will be checking shit around. Peru protests. No, Gen Z protests. That's what I'm searching right here. Okay. I'm actually going to check out the one from The Guardian. Okay. Yes, I accept. I'm actually checking the one from The Guardian so that you guys can actually understand how what the context is. Will march as many times as necessary. Peru's youth protesters defy state of emergency. There was a rapper shot dead by police, and it becomes a symbol of resistance in Peru amid wave of Gen Z rallies sweeping the world. Well, they are tired of all the corruption and all the misplacement of all assets, considering that the corruption actually lines up money for politicians' pockets. We in the Philippines have a really big problem when it comes to the flood control infrastructure scandals that have been popping up, and basically it's actually pointing to the fact that not only are department workers responsible for misplacing and gambling away the money, but the kickbacks when it comes to the flood control infrastructure was also a benefit for congressmen and senators. It was definitely something that picked up really quick, especially as Ferdinand Marcos Jr. basically made sure to state in the State of the Nation address back in July 2025, which is actually good. You address things to make absolutely sure that people understand the context as to why these things are happening. So good. I really praise him for that. I really actually praise Ferdinand Marcos Jr. for actually coming out with this. So yeah. But right now, let's check back with Peru. This is a dictatorship disguised as democracy, said Jorge Calmet of Generation Z Collective, flanked by Leandro Pacheco and Milagros Rojas at a press conference in Lima, Peru. A youth group in Peru calling itself the Generation Z Collective says it will march again on Saturday in defiance of a state of emergency declared by the government this week in the capital Lima and neighboring part of Callao. This is a day ago, so this is probably already like outdated news already. Group leaders said they would be honoring Eduardo Ruiz, a rapper known as Truco, who was shot dead by a plainclothes police. Are you serious? Plainclothes? I thought these were supposed to be protests, but why? There is some sort of plot here that I cannot put together yet, but something about this really is suspicious enough to make me really just consider that if Truco is actually so vocal against the government, would that merit the ultimate sacrifice from him just because he's speaking out against the government? That feels wrong to me. Or maybe there was a clash that actually happened. I'm not sure. Okay, but this is absolutely ugly. Basically, the government, law enforcement, they're never gonna live it down. Not after that. And it happened. The shooting of this rapper happened last week during a huge anti-government march in Lima. They also demanded the resignation of the new interim president, Jose Geri, and the shutting down of Peru's unpopular Congress, which they blame for a series of laws that they claim are contributing to soaring crime. Gen Z leaders told journalists, "We have a constitutional right to protest," Calme actually said. That right cannot be taken away from us by a police commander, a congressman, and certainly not by someone who pretends to be president. We will march as many times as necessary. What is this? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What is this? Uh-oh. And it happened. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hold on. It really turned ugly that it really turned into a scuffle. Be very, very careful, guys, especially if you guys are actually the type who are recording stuff. Okay? Let's just be real. Hoping that no one actually got hurt. Hoping that even if people got hurt in this, I hope that they come out okay. Is this... Actually, never mind. We're not watching this. Copy the video URL. We're going to find it. We need to find it. What the literal hell, bro? It is real. Holy shit, dude. Oh my god. No one's gotten hurt yet. They're just making sure that if there's gonna be... Oh my god, bro. Tried to tear down railings in front of the Congress building. And I am just going to make sure that Yep, they clashed with hundreds of riot police. I am making sure that we are definitely protecting ourselves from the worst stuff, which is why I'm making sure that I'm putting the view away from the protest, because if there are people getting hurt because there are clashes that are happening, I'm just making sure that we are on the right side on this as we're actually reacting to stuff like this. Okay? This is from the Guardian News, by the way. I'm going to subscribe to him. It's fine. I'm going to continue watching this video. The protest came amid a rise in reports of murders and extortion in the South American country. Sorry, I misread the title there. Protesters and police were reportedly injured in the clashes. Okay, safe. At least this one.
Hoy hemos venido a decirle al señor José Gerí que no nos representa.
That he doesn't represent us. He's more of the same. They changed for the worse. This Congress has become a factory of corrupt laws. Oh. Was appointed interim president after his predecessor Dina Boluarte was ousted. Amid political scandals and mounting anger over an increasing crime wave? Uh-oh. Basically, Congress voted to oust the president. Oh, shit. Damn. So that's that's where it started. But basically, it turned ugly because after the interim president was sworn in, I think that rapper was shot. And I think the bad messaging about this just tells us that there's absolutely more corruption in Congress. There's absolutely much more corruption in Congress and with the interim president. Basically, they put the interim president as a puppet, okay? Holy shit, dude. It is ugly. Gen Z protests have swept the world, toppling governments in Madagascar and Nepal this month and shaking the status quo in Morocco. While the demonstrations have various motives, they have been driven broadly by widespread dissatisfaction among young people who are angry about political corruption, lack of opportunities, crime, slow economic growth, and in the case of Nepal, a draconian ban on the internet. The 30-day state of emergency, which began on Wednesday, restricts freedom of movement and assembly. That's in Peru, by the way. And the armed forces can patrol the streets along with the police in Lima and Callao. Jose Geri announced the measures in an attempt to quell a crime wave. Murders increased by 35.9% in 2024 compared with the previous year, and extortion has also risen sharply. There's a lot of corruption probably involved in this, which is why this is actually all happening, and why a lot of the law enforcement are ill-equipped to deal with every freaking case. They're probably overwhelmed. By there's probably corruption in law enforcement too. Probably a side of law. There is a certain side of law enforcement that is also corrupt and are not doing anything to actually lower the crime waves. And it's definitely not helping. administrations and the Congress in Peru. So basically, the round wave of corruption that's actually happening in Peru is actually causing this. It is definitely bad. Jerry took office on October 10 after the removal of President Dina Boluarte by Congress on the grounds of moral incapacity to govern. The unpopular leader had faced accusations of abandoning her post to have... Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Abandoning her post to have plastic surgery and accepting bribes in the form of Rolex watches? No freaking way. Was also investigated for her role in the death of more than 50 protesters at the beginning of her government of nearly 3 years, and she denies any wrongdoing. Oh my god. What the hell is this? Then Calmet also accused, the Gen Z leader by the way, Calmet also accused Congress of passing laws that favored organized crime by weakening the power of prosecutors and making it harder to jail criminal suspects. This is a dictatorship disguised as a democracy. People's lives are a joke to those in power. This is not the first time Peru has declared a state of emergency. The previous declaration was in March, also for 30 days. Most security analysts agree it failed to reduce crime rates. Milagros Rojas, one of the Generation Z's leaders, said, "We are fed up with what we have to live through. That's why so many young people have joined this movement. We have grown up in a country where corruption has been normalized. We, young people, want a modern Peru. We want a country where we can live and not have to emigrate in search of a better quality of life." This is sad. This is really, really sad. It's coming to this point, bro. It's just coming to this point. Oh my god. That is so sad that Peru is actually going through this just because. Damn. Accepting bribes. Accepting bribes. And having a luxury thing happen to her by plastic surgery. I'm not sure if this is a luxury thing or this is a health hazard, or she's having a health crisis. I'm not sure. I don't know what the real talk on the accusations against her were and the investigations. But basically, probably Congress had enough. But Congress, they have their own dirty laundry. They have their own darkness. And my god, these protesters, they want to remove all of the shit. They want to remove all of the shit. My god. This is just... damn. This is just... god damn. It is so sad it's come to this point, huh? It is just sad it's just come to this point in which the corruption doesn't stop at one part of government. It's going to actually spread. It's actually more prevalent on the other side of it. So one president is gone. Another president was sworn in as interim. But let's just be real. Even Congress has corruption and they allow organized crime to actually happen in Peru, which is also a big problem in itself. So, where's the peace and order there? Where's the peace and order there? It's nowhere as long as the barbarism behind the walls of Congress actually happen. It is so shameful what these congressmen are doing. It is so freaking shameful.